Hey there, welcome back. Follow along as I spent 2 days in Paris. I came for the weekend to join a friend who was in the French capital for a few days. We visited the Palace of Versailles, walked a lot, strolled along the Seine and in the Marais, as well as visited the Père Lachaise cemetery. I have been to Paris multiple times and already went to all of these places, but it was really nice to revisit them. This itinerary is perfect for a second visit to the City of Lights, or if you have more than 3 days and already covered the major attractions. Kicking off the day with the RER, I headed to Versailles to meet up with my friend for an early exploration of the palace. After grabbing our coffee, we were ready to explore this old hunting pavilion transferred by Louis XIV in the 19th century into the great palace that it is today. We began the visit with insight into the palace history and explored the Horace Vernet exhibit before processing to the king's apartments. These 7 rooms, designed for official ceremonies, open a window into the grandeur of Louis XIV's reign. The state apartment was open to all who wished to see the king and the royal family, and during the reign of Louis XIV, evening gatherings were held here several times a week. We arrived at the Hall of Mirrors, an iconic space, which replaced a terrace designed by Louis le Vau and showcased the palace's magnificence. Adjacent to the Hall of Mirrors, the Queen's apartments unfolded. Once occupied by Queen Maria Theresa, the space underwent modification by the subsequent queens. We ventured into the beautiful garden, and a 40-minute walk led us to the Trianon estate. In an attempt to gain some brief relief from the court life, the King of Versailles built more intimate spaces close to the main palace. But to be honest, it was mainly to be with their mistresses in peace. So first up we visited the Grand Trianon, which was built until Louis XIV. The king used his new palace as a private residence where he could spend some time with Madame de Maintenon. Then came the Petit Trianon, completed in 1968. It provided Louis XV and his new mistress, the Comtesse du Barry, with the privacy lacking at the palace. Later on, Marie Antoinette, who had trouble adapting to life in the court, received it as a gift and developed a great attachment to it. Finally, we check the Queen's Hamlet, which was constructed between 1983 and 1986. It's an excellent example of the fascinations royal had with the charms of rural life at that time. This model village is inspired by the traditional architecture of Normandy, and although it was reserved primarily for the education of her children, Marie Antoinette also used the hamlet for promenade and hosting guests. We spent most of the day in the palace, more than 5 hours, and walked 20,000 steps just there. So if you're planning to visit the Versailles Palace, I recommend setting aside the whole day, particularly if you plan on exploring the garden and the Trianon instead. So by the time we finished, it was quite late and we were starving, so we went to the Versailles city center to grab food. To savor the Versailles ambience a bit longer, we relaxed in a cafe before returning to the heart of Paris. Arriving at our hotel, the Oops Hotel in the Goblins area, we were ready for some rest and it was already quite dark outside. The room was nice even though it was quite compact, but it had everything we needed for a night. For dinner, we went to a Korean restaurant nearby, we didn't want to go further, which offers a fitting end to our Asian cuisine day. The next day, we left our hotel bright and early. Well, early yes, bright not so much because it was still dark outside. The first stop on our list was the Jardin des Plantes, as it's only like 15-minute walk from the hotel. We were there early and we were pretty much alone in the garden. There was only just few morning runners. I have been to the Jardin des Plantes many times, but I always like to check it out when I'm in the area. Of course, it's much nicer in spring and summer than now in winter, but it was adorned with impressive jungle-themed installations, which you can also visit at night, and it was really nice. Exiting the gardens, we stroll along the Seine with Notre Dame in sight and explore the Presqu'île Saint-Louis, which is a charming island frozen in the 17th century. It's almost as if someone dropped a small French village into the center of Paris. We stopped at this cute coffee shop called Noir for our second coffee of the day, which was very needed to warm us up. We continued our exploration of the 4th district, venturing into the Marais, another of my favorite neighborhoods. It is known for its historic mansions built in the 17th and 18th century, and it has also traditionally been the Jewish quarter. It is renowned for its kosher delis and bakeries. If you want to eat falafels, you're in the right area. Today the Marais is full of chic upscale shops, trendy restaurants, and bars, and is a mixture of many communities. It's also home to a great food hall called Le Marché des Enfants Rouges. We finished our Marais exploration by the Place des Vosges, one of the most beautiful squares in Paris. It was originally called Place Royale, as it became home to Paris aristocracy. Today, it's one of the few parks where you can actually sit on the grass, making it a perfect picnic spot when the sun is out. The main stop on our list that day was the Père Lachaise cemetery. We took the trip to go to the 20th district. There we stopped for yet another coffee before tackling this cemetery. With more than 3.5 million visitors annually, it is the most visited necropolis in the world. Notable figures in the art are buried there, including Jim Morrison, Colette, Frédéric Chopin, Edith Piaf, Marcel Proust, Sarah Bernard, Oscar Wilde, and Gaspard Ulliel. If you're planning to visit it, reserve a few hours of your time in your itinerary. We got lost quite a bit trying to find some of the towns, especially the Jim Morrison one. We were lost for like at least an hour. But the sun was out and it offered a pleasant walk amid greenery. After all this walking, it was time for lunch and we stopped at this brasserie to enjoy a well-deserved croque madame. We finished the day at the Bibliothèque François Mitterrand, where we enjoyed the sunset over the French capital. I hope you enjoyed tagging along on my Parisian adventures, and see you in the next one!